Hope y'all have your Gorn hunting boxes ready, because today is the season finale of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, and it is filled to the absolute brim with scary space reptilians. Last week, we got the first full ever Star Trek musical, and after reading tons of comments left on my last review, the common consensus is that you guys absolutely loved it. And contrary to my own opinions, the dancing boy band Klingons were met with a very warm reception, as my viewers told me that this was one of the most well executed and just one of the greatest additions to the goofy episodes of Star Trek. I did, however, have some passionate commenters who acted like Star Trek has never had a goofy episode before, or that it hasn't been littered with musical and theatrical elements from the very beginning. And then not only that, I had a couple embarrassing goofballs who acted like they hated the episode so much that they're just never gonna watch an episode of Strange New Worlds again, which is just complete cap. And I know y'all are going to be enticed to come back after this very juicy season finale and this great reveal of a very important legacy character. If you've not seen the episode, be sure to go watch it and join back in on the discussion, because I do not do spoiler-free reviews. And with all that being said, let's get right into it. Today's episode starts off by introducing us to Captain Patel and Nurse Chapel as they attempt to provide relief and agricultural stability to this Federation planet that is filled with citizens that are just really strangely dressed. I do not understand the costume design when it comes to these common colonists. And then on top of that, I paused the episode at one point, and I swear I saw Indiana Jones just right there, smack dab in the middle of the screen, with his trusty whip on his side. The name of this colony planet is Parnassus Beta, and I've just got to say that I am not falling in love with the set design for this colony. They went with a Midwestern look as an explanation, and this is a common theme in Star Trek. As to meet, budget needs for set design, they come up with some convenient explanation for why they're using a generic-looking town, and it really reminded me of those old Westerns where we have the cliche-looking saloon in the sheriff's office. It was just extremely flat and a little bit lifeless. Post-Gorn attack later in the episode, it really reminds me of the Black Ops 2 zombie map with the bus when they're all holed up in the diner trying to seek refuge away from the baby Gorn. Also neat is that in the beginning we finally get a 100% confirmation that the USS Cayuga is one of the 12, or at least it used to be one of the 12 Constitution-class ships that was among the fleet at the time of the TOS era, before it is completely ripped apart and turned into space trash by Gorn hunting ships. Is it a little strange, by the way, that somebody with as high a rank as Captain Patel, somebody who's virtually got the same job of exploration and just doing space chores as Captain Pike, that somebody like that is a JAG officer and has seemingly a very other demanding career role that she is actively participating in? Are you really telling me that Captain Patel is captaining a Constitution-class ship and also at the same time is bringing somebody like Unachin Riley in to face charges? I don't have any problem with this. It's just a little bit unprecedented. It's a little bit interesting, and I would really like an in-lore episode explanation as to how Captain Patel got promoted to this commission. Did anybody else really like the Gorn vessel? I thought the Gorn vessel looming over the colony was very intimidating and abstract, and it looked really appealing. Found a little bit strange and cliche, I guess, was Starfleet's position on this colony, as well as the conversation between Captain Pike and Admiral April, because Admiral April was sitting here and acting like this Federation colony was literally in Gorn territory already, like they are not disputing anything and they're not going to act like they have any right to being here. And also, Admiral April seems very unconcerned with protecting citizens of the Federation. Maybe in his mind, they're already dead, and on top of that, maybe he doesn't want to potentially lose another Constitution-class ship that's expensive. But from a viewer's perspective, I feel like that whole conversation just could have been way better written or just omitted. Instead of Admiral April April just getting on Captain Pike's case about what to do in this very dangerous and harsh situation, he should have been way more supportive. That line about him saying, "Hey, I know you and Captain Beta are close, but do not let that influence your decision," that's really cliche. I've seen that about 10,000 times in TV shows like this, and I just didn't need to see it again. He should seem like the supportive friend and also the experienced commander who should really be like helping Captain Pike in this situation and not making it worse. The scene of Ortegas landing the shuttlecraft on the planet is S tier for multiple reasons. First off, it's just visually one of the most immersive CGI I've ever seen in Star Trek. It looks really good. That shuttle flying around over the landscape, it looked really convincing. And number two, I just really thought that this is a top 3 Ortegas moment when she is smiling and is very passionate about the task at hand while all of her other friends and crew members are trying not to puke their brains out in this shuttlecraft because it's spinning around. The G-force in that must have been absolutely crazy. Also cool to note that she learned these skills in this particular technique in the previous Klingon War. After evading baby Gorn for a while and just generally worrying about the potential of survivors, the Enterprise crew find themselves stumbling upon a Gorn trap. But not just anybody's Gorn trap. It's frickin' Scotty's Gorn trap, okay? Montgomery Scott is back. In the season 1 finale of Strange New Worlds, we got that little voice line of Scotty in the alternate timeline Balance of Terror, and ever since then people have been wondering, hey, when are we actually going to get to see the new Scotty? And oh my gosh, it just made me so happy as a viewer. What a time to be alive. This twist cameo might be more impressive than the Riker Titan cameo at the end of Lower Decks Season 2. Martin Quinn joins the Star Trek franchise as our new Scotty, and let me just tell you guys that I love him. I love this dude. I feel like this is the most impressive recasting of an iconic character I have ever seen in my entire life. The mannerisms, the accent, and then on top of that, the appearance. This guy, really, you look at him and you look at the way he's moving around and talking to Captain Pike, and you see his confidence in his engineering abilities and also what he had to do to survive the Gorn attack on his old ship. Because in the episode, it's revealed that his old ship actually fell victim to a Gorn attack, and all of his crew members, everybody is dead, and he managed to, by his own skill set, get to this planet and seek refuge there just alone on a shuttle. So impressive. This guy sounds exactly like Scotty in every way, and he looks like him. That is the point that I really want to drive home, is that he looks so much like a young Lieutenant Scotty. S tier. 11 out of 10 casting, 11 out of 10 performance. You're not going to hear me complain a lick about this new Scotty because he's amazing and he's my favorite part of the episode. He definitely carries it. This isn't something that I totally support, but there's a lot of people guessing that eventually Captain Pike will be going into the chair sooner than we thought, and that he's not going to be at the helm in the captain's chair for the complete series of the show, and that by the end of it, we're probably going to get a season or 2 of Captain Kirk in this new cast actually manning the Enterprise. In my opinion, what they're doing here is, instead of that long-rumored Starfleet Academy series, where people really did a lot of fan art for a while thinking that Bones, Scotty, Kirk, and Spock were all going to meet at Starfleet Academy for some reason. I really like what they're doing now, how they're just slowly introducing them all as like young junior officers and lieutenants coming aboard and meeting on the Enterprise prior to them embarking on their 5-year mission. I really like how they're doing it. I do not want Lieutenant Kirk to like be the captain for an entire season of Strange New Worlds, though. I firmly believe that this is Captain Pike's show and it should be about his Enterprise. People have been making a lot of comments too about how Transporter Chief Kyle is like missing. He doesn't exist ever since the first season. I'm pretty sure we haven't seen him, and instead we just get Transporter Operator Jay in his place, and it's just not as cool because Jay isn't a previous existing TOS character like Kyle is. Also, why do I feel like I lost almost over a whole minute of screen time just listening to "Warning, oxygen levels reaching critical." For such an exciting premise of an episode, that shouldn't have been so drawn out, long, and dramatic. You're honestly just wasting a minute of my time having Nurse Chapel crawl around the ship and having this warning repeated to me. And it's making me a little bit antsy because this is the 47-minute point in the episode and I have yet to see an adult Gorn. And I'm thinking while watching this as a viewer that if I do not get to see an adult Gorn by the first 2 seasons of the show, I'm gonna go freaking crazy. Luckily, I didn't have to go crazy because they showed an adult Gorn near the end of the episode roaming the Cayuga, and Spock had to duke it out in zero gravity with the Gorn. And I will tell you guys my honest opinion on the adult design for the Gorn because I have been really anticipating it. When I first saw it, I'm not gonna lie, I thought it looked a little bit strange at first, but that is just because I didn't see it very well. Everything's moving around very fast. When we got to the bridge and Spock was fighting it and we got the close-up to its spacesuit, its armor, its eyes, the way it moved methodically, I thought I was falling in love with this new version of the Gorn. Every aspect of it, it felt like they were being a little bit respectful to the arena canon. I know that they were floating around in space, but I really liked how the Gorn was moving slow. I know I'm stupid for saying that because everybody is going to move slow in space. I really hope that when they take the Gorn out of the spacesuit, that he also continues to move a little bit slowly and methodically. And then on top of this, I feel like the size was very good. Spock, as a Vulcan, was having a struggle against this giant beast, but the Gorn shouldn't be so big and so OP to the point where it can't be killed with, means outside of an upgraded phaser. I really liked how Spock created a breach in the helmet and actually defeated him by other means. This is respectful to the arena, in my opinion, because, if Spock's able to do this, then I'm also led to believe that Captain Kirk is able to 1v1 of these things in, a Hunger Games situation. If they were way too OP, that would break my immersion and would lead me to believe, how is Captain Kirk ever able to beat one of these things with his bare hands and some gunpowder and some dime? When you look at the Gorn in its armor, it really is cool. It reminds you that they are a sentient, highly intelligent species that is capable of very intricate craftsmanship. They definitely have a culture. They have a way of communication. They're smart enough to be able to send messages back and forth to the Federation. Also, can we talk about how Spock fought a damn Gorn for Nurse Chapel to save her life? I know we're in a really serious situation and we gotta save Captain Patel from these Gorn eggs, but could you really not take the 3 seconds to hear Spock out for his apology? I am doubling down on the opinion that the producers of the show are starting to make Nurse Chapel seem a little bit unlikable. That was just downright jerky. This episode taught me that perfect recastings do exist. Anybody and everybody ever in the existence of all time was Peli a student at Starfleet Academy, and while some aspects of this new Gorn conflict are a little bit disrespectful and retcon scenes from the original Arena episode, I find myself very much enjoying this constant evolution of the Gorn throughout Star Trek history. Cliffhangers really hurt. I wanted a conclusion to my season finale, but instead we get to see all of Captain Pike's friends beamed off the planet and sent into Gorn slavery. Probably going to have to wait a long time to see the conclusion of this. It's just going to be a long time until we see season 3, so I'm a little bit sad. But the fact that we're probably going to get an insane hour-long, hopefully, season premiere makes up for it just a little bit. For the overall plot and creativity and the writing, I'd probably give this episode around a 5 or a 6. Nothing too special. It's a little bit generic and predictable. But for the execution, I give it a 9. Some of my favorite features were, of course, the fact that this Montgomery Scott recasting is the best recasting in Star Trek history. The Ortegas scene where she was flying the shuttlecraft made me smile. Was really happy to see her enjoying her away mission. And the brawl between Spock and the adult Gorn was really well choreographed, and I enjoyed it a lot. So I think, to be fair, I'm going to end up giving this one a 6.5 today. I eagerly await next season with its premiere. I'm very much looking forward to it. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you have been watching the previous reviews or if you've just tuned in recently, no matter what. I really appreciate y'all. I'm having so much fun gradually reviewing these episodes as they come out. Star Trek is my favorite thing in the world. So if you're enjoying any of the content or anything that you're seeing on the channel, I'd be very flattered if you were to subscribe once we hit 10K subscribers. I am going to dress up as my favorite Star Trek alien, and I'm going to go film a funny video out in public. If you want to see that, be sure to subscribe. If you have anything that you'd like to share with me, please leave it down in the comments below. They're my favorite thing about YouTube. I very much enjoy the interaction, and I want to know what you guys thought about the season finale, and what are you looking forward to next season. If you enjoyed the video, please sure to slap a like on it, and with all that being said, I hope you guys have a good rest of your week until the next season of Lower Decks. Y'all have a good one. Live long and prosper.